Okay folks, we're going to make some scones. One of the few things in life that I can actually do well is make scones, and people do pester me and say, how do you make your scones? So here we go. Right, I'm going to do this live, so speed is of the essence. We're going to start off with some bog standard cheapest margarine you can buy. Half of your brick of margarine. Get in there and melt it. Flour, self-raising soda bread flour. If you're not in Ireland, email the lovely people at Neil's and ask them how to do it, because I don't know ingredients. No, soda flour method. Damn. Ingredients: wheat flour and raising agents. So you need to find out what those are. Right, 2 1/4 pounds of flour. This recipe is slightly mutated to take a full pint of buttermilk. So, buttermilk is buttermilk. There are probably premium brands, but so we will be using that. Sugar goes in now, so we have 2 1/4 pounds of self-raising soda bread flour. Sugar, I'll take it up to about 6 inches of sugar. 5, 6, there. It's a very robust recipe. It allows for variety, shall we call it, okay? So that's our dry goods. They can stay there. Now we have a wet mix. Yes, and I know all this on Dave. Right. Now, most people do eggs in scones. People complain whenever I think eggs in scones. They say, oh, but you don't put eggs in scones. Sorry, I do it over. Okay, and a pint of buttermilk. Come the day that we all move to being fully brick, and that will be 568 buttermilk. Hurrah! Get rid of that. Okay, set that out of the way for a second. I am going to be making cinnamon scones today. The difference comes further down the line, but once you put moisture into a bowl, speed is of the essence. So be prepped beforehand, know what it is you're going to do, and go for it. So that's that much. I'm a big fan of this much and that much of stuff, as opposed to specific measurements. That's why it is like that. Okay. So we have our flour and sugar, we have our eggs and buttermilk, we have our 4 ounces of margarine melted, and we are ready now to go quick. Alright, speed is of the essence. Alright, the quicker you can go from dry mixture and in the oven, the better. Okay? Now, what we're going to make today, as I said, is cinnamon scones, which are extremely fattening. Okay? Get over it. You don't have them every day. A wee treat every now and then do you the world of good. Don't live on them every day because they will kill you. Okay, so 2 1/4 pounds of soda bread flour, 5 maybe 6 ounces of sugar, a pint of buttermilk, 3 eggs whisked into it, and 4 ounces of melted marge. Alright? And the quicker you do this bit, the happier the world will be. Okay, don't pour the melted marge straight into your eggs, because then it'll cook your eggs and you'll end up with an omelette, which is not what we're after. This is a fairly big mix. Scones freeze beautifully well, but when I worked in the coffee shop, I used to do double this size. I used to do a 5 pound mix, and I would do about, I usually had nearly 200 scones a day made before 9 o'clock in the morning, but that's 11. Right, once this is through, it's a fairly soft dough you end up with. Now, if you want to make just plain scones, just like you would have with a cup of coffee, once this is done, level it out about 2.5 centimeters. That's an inch for free world. Thick. Cut them out, put them on the tray, get them in an oven at about 220 for about 12 minutes. Now that's our dough done. If you're going to make fruit scones or cherry scones or anything like that, this is where you add your fruit, mix it up, cut it, oven it, job done. Now, a wee bit of flour to reduce stickage. Now, the way I do this, I don't roll, I squish. Now, because we're doing the cinnamon scones, I'm going for a rectangular base, because I'm going to make sort of like a Swiss roll type affair. Squishing it out to, what's that, a little under half a centimetre thick, roughly. Okay, now this will stick like a brute to the table, so a palette knife is a really good idea. Now, here's our cinnamon and brown sugar mix, which we spread over. Gather up, you lot, you little rascals. Okay, it is a hands-on sort of a recipe, so if you're one of these people that doesn't like getting your fingers all squishy, then your scones in a shop. Amount of raisins, sorry, sultanas, that's about a good double handful. Again, it depends how big your hands are. I did say that this is a recipe that's going to kill you if you eat it every day, because here comes the extra butter, margarine, whatever, margarine does right, like. Here we get all squishy and minky. We need to do this as quickly as possible because the time from, as I've said, wet into the oven needs to be as short as possible. Okay, this, when it bakes, the butter and the sugar work together to make a sticky, gooey, caramelly sort of vibe, which is going to be a good thing. Life doesn't get better than sticky, gooey caramel, eh? And if you're not a fat person already, you will be if you eat too many of these. Assuming you survive, of course, and don't just have a heart attack by looking at it. Right, there we go. Sticky gooiness. Hands all clobbered. Paper towel. Because the eagle-eyed of you will notice that I've covered up the sink because the baking trays just sit nicely there. Now, this is where I can't find my palette knife. Get these out of the way. Now, palette knife is very useful for this because you can do that. Alright, and it will crack and fall apart and be all ugh. But that's perfectly alright. Catch the bits that fall off and recycle them back into the middle again as you go. Your spillages out of the end. It's really good if you have a wider counter than I have here. We have the pokiest little kitchen in all of Pokey Kitchen Land. Okay, so we have our big Swiss roll. Get it all nicely manipulated. Get your ends as square as is feasible. And then about inch slices. Now these go into the tray. Don't put them touching, but I'm doing them 3 abreast. So we'll get 12 onto this tray. If there's any escaped raisins, sultanas, whatever they were, sultanas I think, they can go back in at the end. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, there's 12 on a tray. Those go in the oven now for 12 minutes at 220. Timer set for 12. There's a couple left here. So. Sticky gooey mess. Yay! Okay, here's the next of 3. As well. Okay, other fillings you can do while they're cooking. Other fillings that work really well. Before, if you're not going to make cinnamon scones, if you're just going to make regular fruit scones or cherry or cinnamon and apple works really well. Or if you want to be really, really avant-garde, forget about the sugar and put in grated cheese, same amount, and then put in chopped fresh basil and sun-dried tomatoes. Oh, now that's something special. Oh. So that goes in the bin, these screw bits. And there you are, that's cinnamon scones. I'll stop the camera now and restart it when they come out of the oven, and all is wonderful. Thank you. Time. There we go. Now that's 12 minutes. Let's take a look. Now, they have grown, swollen, and squished over each other. Now, there's still. Do you see? There's still just a wee bit of flexibility going on there. Now, they will continue to bake. I'm not going to put them in a cooling tray. I'm going to just let them cool. I'm going to set them up so they don't burn the worktop because my lovely wife. Well, probably have to. Yep, the other ones are good. So, now give them another. I would say another 5 minutes, just because they're still toasty hot. They're still baking as they sit there. So 5 minutes time, they'll be ready to eat. So give me 5. Are we running again? Yes, we are. Okay, 5 minutes later, things cooled down a bit. Now, because these have now swollen as they cook, and they rise, they're now roughly rectangular. Out the top. There, the way. There we go. To serve, yes, I know they're already dripping in butter, but come on. That goes on top. If you've got them chilled, or if they've gone cold, that in the micro, long enough to melt the butter. Oh yes. Oh yes. And now all we need to finish off for a perfect day. Some fair mug of tea. Mug of tea is wonderful. Personally, I prefer coffee. So, and if you want to do coffee, it has to be frothy coffee. And a wee sprinkle. Does life get better than that? I think not.